Royal Television. We inspire.
Hey there, thanks for watching Royal Television Nigeria. My name is Adira Dada. On this episode of Starlite, I have the extraordinary opportunity to chat with an impeccably dressed gentleman. His friends say he's very humble, quite talented, someone that is passionate about development. You know what the good book says about a man's gifts will make way for him. On this occasion, this man's gift speaks pictures. Ladies and gentlemen, as titles go, we have the president, the number one man at the helm of affairs. We have the first lady, Her Excellency. I think this man's title should be His Excellency, the first photographer. Ladies and gentlemen, Bayo Omoboriowo. Good afternoon, Bayo.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
Welcome to Royal Television Nigeria. What brings you to this part of town?
Well, I from the onset, I've been very passionate, just like you said, about development and inspiring the next generation. Because I tell people what brought me this far is because of the people who contributed to me and made me who I am today through God. And I was invited by the students of the University of Ilorin to speak on entrepreneurship at one of their summits. So that's what brings me to Ilorin.
So this is your first time here in Ilorin?
I think I've stumbled or I've passed through, but I think, I've been to Ilorin maybe once or twice or passing through then, but this is the first time I'll be to University of Ilorin.
So did you have a great time today, seeing younger generation? And I mean, what was that event like?
It was humbling. It was interesting to see. You could see it in their hide. Like, I can imagine where they'll be in few years' time. And I think I feel fulfilled that I could come and I've never met them before. Even the person who anchored the event or the host, the convener of the summit, I've never met him before. But I met him, or he met me, or we met each other on social media, and he was like, please, can you just come to our university and inspire these young people? And, coming for me, I think it's humbling, and I am excited.
I have exactly the same experience to tell you about Bayo. I was just glancing through Instagram as it is. I follow him on Instagram. I'm sure after today he'll start following me too. And then lo and behold, I saw today it is for Ilorin. Today is for Ilorin. Yes, it has to be. And that's how come I invited you to come and have this chat with us on Starlite. So photography. There's been quite a couple of articles written about you. I had to quickly, within the 1 hour that we spoke, I had to browse through to see which one is true, which one is not true. And I'm sure you've had that experience when some people say, okay, he's from a peasant home, and Nigeria trying to make the Hollywood story of everybody's story. What do you do when you read all sorts of stories about you?
Well, it's just painful about the social media world now, which are the few lapses and challenges you have where, especially not just social media, our journalists and writers, people aren't accurate. As much as those stories are true, I find it painful enough that some people don't even go the extra mile to even ask or even question or do the research. So you find someone saying, yes, he's from a poor background from Mushin, he did not go, maybe someone say he did not even go to school. I know, but I feel pained to say, okay, why can't you just you take the pain of trying to interview? Why can't you just, so there was this instance where someone wrote an article when I first became the president's photographer. And then immediately this person picked it word for word. And then it was one of the biggest news that went everywhere. Almost, I can't count how many hundreds of social media platforms carried it, and even print media. But I felt pained for that instance, in the sense that, why couldn't, especially the biggest platform that shared it, this person has my phone number, has access to, why couldn't you just call and
do your work,
do the research? By who are you? What are you known for? Where are you coming from? What's your success story?
Yeah.
And then you have a proper profile of this person, rather than copy and paste, or you just munch from a social media platform and then repost. I think we really need to work on that part.
Royal Television Services is actually attending to that kind of thing. Our story is we like to inspire. So it means we have to go to the grassroots to tell the story. So it's a great honor and privilege to have you here telling your story. Bayo, how long have you been a photographer for?
I think I've been a photographer from birth, but professionally, I've been a photographer for 5 years.
From
birth, in the sense that my father is a photographer, but I never thought or even had an idea I was going to be a photographer. I just knew I had flair for the camera. But then, when growing up, if you touch my father's camera, you're in soup. So everybody ran away from the camera. Maybe you just take it to play, and then he's coming. You run and quickly drop it. But I never saw myself being a photographer until when I went for NYSC. But before then, while in the university, I finished from University of Lagos, I was very passionate about the camera. I could stand in front of anybody to take pictures. So I was doing it for the fun of it. I went everywhere taking pictures of people, and you see them laughing. It's like, can I have a copy of the picture? Can I copy it on my computer? And that was how I started. Until immediately after NYS, when I had the choice of being a lecturer or going to practice photography. So I knew I was happier and more fulfilled taking pictures. So I said, no, I'm going to rather take photography serious, give my best to it, and that was how I started in 2011 when I took photography very, very serious.
Such a short time. By the way, what does your father think now?
He's so super proud. He's seeing his son being with whining and dining with world leaders. I think no parents would want anything short of that for their children. So he's very proud, and he's proud to call me son.
Great story there. Bayo, when you decided it was photography, I'm sure, even as your official title now, the official photographer of the president, it didn't just happen overnight. But when you did decide, that moment, that's, after your service, when you said, it is photography for me, what kept you going? Even when the gigs were not coming, what kept you going?
Yeah, so for me, it's about finding fulfillment in whatsoever you do and being passionate about what you set out to do. What kept me going actually is God. I knew at every junction that I had to go back to God. So when it was even challenging, I had points where, I had the high points where it was exciting. I had the low points where I was telling myself, why are you killing yourself? I finished up in the university. I was invited to be a lecturer. I'm an hot cake. In fact, I got to a point where one of my friends was saying, Bayo, what happened to you? He was pitying me, like, how would you go and do photography? You're a brilliant. Even my classmates couldn't believe. Like, why would Bayo choose photography? He was one of the best students in the class. Why can't he just go and practice? Yes, I knew if I put my CV and the kind of people I knew, I could get a very good job in any company. But I knew. So it's about knowing what you really want to do. I knew photography was what I wanted to do, and I would rather die on the altar of photography. So whatsoever I had to take, I had to give my best to it. So I was very ensured I was learning as much as I could, because the problem is when people are not doing well, rather than go back to the root and actually seek, what am I not doing enough? So it's not about, there will always be challenges in life. So even if you're working for someone, you're working in a corporate organization, you will still find challenges. So would you back out and jump from one company to another company? How long would you keep jumping?
Yeah.
But rather, why don't you look for what is the problem? How can I solve it? So for me, it has always been, okay, when I get to every junction of facing challenges, how do I surpass it?
Yeah.
And then secondly is, what am I doing differently than no other person is doing that would stand me out? Yeah. So it has always been about being excellent. I am a fan of excellence.
Yeah.
Everything you must be excellent. So if I'm a photographer, yes, I must die at the altar of being doing that thing and being excellent at it, being dedicated, being humble, be a person of integrity. Yeah. Why would people want to hire you? Why would people want to work with you? So your lifestyle must speak in the direction of excellence. Excellence at even the way you look.
I said impeccably dressed, remember?
Do you understand? Even the way you talk, the way you...
Yes.
Even as little as the way you smell. Do you understand? So these are little things that people don't even take cognizance of. They don't pay attention to
details.
And they want to. So when I started, I knew, Bayo, you have to go all out for this. If you're really going all out for this, you have to put this. So not like there hasn't been challenges, not like I've not, messed up at some point, but at every point in time I knew it was photography I wanted to do, and I was going to go. There were times I didn't even make money.
Yeah.
There were times I had to use my money there were times I had to save my ass out to get the best of gadgets to be able to go out there. But I always wanted to tell the world that I was better than even I myself knew I was.
So it was a case of options, solutions, opportunities.
Problem solve
and
it.
problem solve it. Excellent work there. So now about the work, the skill itself. What does it take to be an exceptional photographer? There's a question behind this. Let me explain. There's this shot you took of His Excellency President Mohamadu Buhari. It's almost like an eclipse. He's walking through the light. You know, it's momentous. What was going through your mind when you took that shot?
It's for me. It's I try my best to measure up with international best practices.
Okay.
So I'm not the kind of photographer that is a local champion. No. I'm the photographer that if I sit down with other world leading photographers, I would have a voice. So it's not just about, let's just do it. So what has always moved me on is raising a voice anywhere in the world. And I want my pictures to speak that voice. Because I'm a photographer, I speak with images.
Yeah.
My images must be able to, so even if they don't see me, they must be able to sit down and look at my images and say, Kai, this guy must be brilliant.
Yeah.
So I make every necessary investment for that. My cameras must be international standard.
Yeah.
My editing skills must be international standard. The computers I use must be international standard. And these are things that, and then the knowledge I acquire. Yeah. I go online. I've never gone into any formal setting to learn photography. No.
Yeah.
But I sit down online and I'm looking for, you'll find me doing things like top 10 photographers in the world.
What do they do differently?
What are they doing?
Yeah.
Do you understand? What are the leading images in this field? How do you photograph a president? What images should you take of a president? Angles. The best moment of so you see me researching. And those are the things I digest. Now, if you don't have it in your inside, you can't give it in your outside.
Absolutely.
So I make sure I suck in so much. So when you ask me, how come you thought about that picture? It was already here.
You saw it first.
So it was not when I took the picture that the picture was already in the inside of me.
Yeah.
I only saw the picture. It gave me the opportunity to express what was in my mind. So I first load my mind. And then when I see opportunities, I'm able to ingest what is in my mind into images. And that's how people say, Bayo, your pictures are lovely. Your pictures are storytelling. Yes. First, the God in me inspires my creativity. So there are a lot of good, brilliant photographers. But the God in me inspires my creativity, but also
He's the God
knowledge.
In me.
Do you understand? It's the God in me. God but also, God will not expect us. So people that spiritualize everything. No, God will also expect you to go out there and seek knowledge.
Yes.
Do due diligence.
Yeah.
You see someone that says he wants to be an excellent photographer. He's not even investing in his gadget.
Yeah.
So he's using a 10,000 naira gadget and he wants to make a 10 million from a 10,000 naira gadget. So there are many things, fundamental things that must be put in place for us to actually, succeed in whatsoever we lay our hands on.
Bayo, the first question that came to mind when I saw you today, when I saw this opportunity, and it was this: somebody must have said something to this guy that has set him on this path with this kind of determination, with this kind of zeal. What was the one piece of advice you received that's changed your life?
I've never been asked that kind of question, and I've never thought about it.
Yeah.
But one thing I know is I've always been a stickler for leadership, leading.
Yeah.
Which took me to, I remember when I was in university, I was part of Leap Africa, where I was
Uneli.
Ndidi Uneli. Even as a university, I think I was in year 1 or 2 when I already went for leadership training, where Leap stands for leadership, effectiveness, accountability, and professionalism.
Yeah.
So I can't remember specifically, but I know all those little things were being ingested injected into me, and then I am sure over time I had digested it. But if there's anything that I know it's a key word of advice that would keep me going: whatsoever your hand finds to do it with all your might. So if I leave photography today and I go into makeup, I'll be the best makeup Nigeria has ever seen. And not just
That's
Nigeria.
A message for you.
Africa has ever seen. And not just Africa, over time. So it's progressive. So I won't say I want to be the best makeup artist in the world. No. I'll first start with makeup artists, even in my university, if I was a student.
Yeah.
So I want to be the best my university has ever produced. Then I'll move from there and say, okay, in my area, I want to be known.
Yeah.
Then from there, I'll move to my nation,
Yeah.
and then from there I'll move to my continent, and then
Yes.
from there I'll move to the world. So I see people say I want to be the best in the world. Have you even been the best?
Where
in
you
your-
are, starting from your
in
domain.
Can your friends say you're the best hairdresser they've ever
Yeah.
met in that circle before you even think of the word? So life is progressive.
Yeah.
So for me, be the best at whatsoever you lay your hands about. Go all out to succeed.
All right, our time is almost up, but I have time for just one more question. What is the most touching or, your amazing moment as a photographer? What is that one moment that you'll never forget?
One moment I would never forget. One moment I will never forget.
It feels like he's on the hot seat.
Ah,
He's not.
One moment I will never forget. I don't know, but I think if there's in my journey in photography, one
Yes.
moment I would never forget is I can remember being in the White House and someone saying to Obama, see how good he see how good he looks like you. And the same day I was with the VP Joe Biden, and
Yeah.
so Joe Biden held my hands. The president was by his side, and he held my hands and he was saying, you look so well dressed, and look at his bow tie, and see, these are rare moments. You don't find
Enigma.
it anywhere.
Yes.
Being in the White House and the president's office,
the
and
one
they were
man in
telling
the
him,
world.
Obama, this guy looks so much like you.
you.
I think much more than the profession we even choose
Yes.
is how do you want people to how do you want to look in front of people? I don't just want to be a successful photographer who doesn't have a successful life.
Yes.
So it's bigger
That's
than
for
just being a
sure.
photographer. It's
Yeah.
wherever you go to, can people say, oh, you're a best representation of a Nigerian?
Nigerian.
Do you understand? Can they say
Yeah.
you're a best So it's not just, oh, he's a brilliant photographer and
Yeah.
then maybe he doesn't even know how to talk.
Yeah.
He doesn't even have integrity. The guy is actually good, but he's not even approachable. He's so proud. No, I want to be an holistic success.
Yes.
Success that you can look at and say, okay, he's a brilliant photographer, but he's also a very humble, God-fearing, loving, lovable. He cares about people.
Yeah.
And I also want to be financially empowered.
Buoyant.
You understand?
Yes.
So it's not that the boy is good, but he can't even smile. So it's about being holistic. And
Yes.
I think if there's anything, that drives me is to actually ensure that my life can speak to the next generation as a whole.
Excellent. When I read that article, when someone asked you that, what's the greatest achievement you want to do? And I think it was like a bucket list for you. You said you wanted to photograph the President of America. And I mean, so that was like you ticking that off the bucket list, like, okay, done.
Yeah, so people ask me, what is next?
Yeah.
What is next?
Which is my next question, really. What's next? Bayo Omoboriowo, I see that you have an exhibition later this year.
Yeah, in the Brooklyn.
Yes. I didn't even know about that, but I went to look at the pictures. Excellent pictures. And why I'm saying this is that most people know you for the shots you take of the presidents when you went for the former governor of Ekiti State, Kayode Fayemi's campaign, all those shots. But I know there's more. I mean, you're just a bag of plenty, So what's the next level for Bayo Omoboriowo photography? Is there an exhibition coming on? Is there a photography school? I mean, is it just through inspiring people like this that you want to, inspire the next generation? What's next?
Well, for me, what is next simply is, number one, there's so much gap in the photography industry in Nigeria. We have very few people that can actually measure up with international standard or best practices.
Yeah.
One of the things I would like to do is to empower so much more persons to climb that ladder of becoming internationally certified. You don't have to go to school to get certified. You just need to to read.
Find
So
people
I'm
in the
gonna.
right places.
My plan is to have a platform where people can come together and they can be. I can bet so much more buyers and even people that will be far better than me. That's one. And then photography is far more than just clicking. Have a conglomerate. It's an industry in itself.
Yes.
Dangote can have Dangote cement, and why can't I have a Bayo Omoboriowo that
That's
is
what
that
we're
big
talking about.
in the field of media and
Yes.
and it's well recognized. So there's so much more. There's so much more. So let's wait and see as it unravels.
So that's it on this episode of Starlite. Remember, you can visit our social media platforms. So on Instagram at Royal TV Nigeria. You can look us up on youtube.com/Royal TV Nigeria. And of course on facebook.com/Royal TV Nigeria. Till we come your way again next time. Bye-bye.